Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about my cars and my trucks and the SUV that's up on top of the hill and my motorcycles. And wow. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning to my channel and appreciate all the support. And anybody that's new to subscribing or watching, appreciate you listen to my conversation this morning as we get to go the day going. Is wow. Yeah, I gotta, hey, this is pretty classic. If you watch my channel, if you just kind of step back as I have, hey, there's the deer blood from the deer that I took out in my truck. But if you kind of just step back right now, you would question where you are to some degree. Like, here's a truck, here's a vehicle, a Bronco Raptor, got that back, trailer, truck, car, another car, motorcycles, let's see here, 5 motorcycles. Then you kind of go up here on the hill, and my Jeep Grand Wagoneer is actually parked up here on the hill. So if you kind of watch my channel, and you know that I live in Virginia, but I'm down here in Tennessee at my mother-in-law's house, you'd borderline have to say the parking lot at your mother-in-law's house is starting to kind of look like your house. I mean, yeah, I thought about this yesterday. Yeah, the parking's getting tight. Wow. Man almighty. Got the Bronco back. Oh my gosh. Boy, until you kind of part yourself with these vehicles and then you get back into it. I mean, that thing is just so nice. Got a lot of attention at the dealership, just sitting there for close to 3 weeks for it to be worked on. So, that was really nice at Friendship 4. Got that thing put back together. Now here's the next adventure. Got a frickin' F450 that needs a front bumper. So we're taking that over to the dealership to have them evaluate how much damage this has done. Now kind of looking a little more into this. Did it push that lower transmission cooler in? That, you know, I don't know. Does that need to be replaced? I don't know. So this is a whole other project. Every time I come down, seems like I have projects, and that's what it is. Projects. Oh my gosh, man. It's been non-stop projects since I've been here and leaving. And if you watch my channel, you'll see I spent the day on Wednesday packing up. And then yesterday I spent the day unpacking and moving furniture and running to get things. So yeah, it just doesn't end. But you know what? Let's just kind of move on from that conversation. Let's talk about the number one conversation. Let's talk about the number one. Why did Harley Davidson make a number one sticker on their motorcycles, or a number one paint on their motorcycles? Well, I think we all know it's because Harley Davidson wants to be the number one motorcycle manufacturer, racer, winner. So see here, number one. That's a Harley theme in a lot of their products. Is their perception is, or I should say their whole marketing strategy is, that if you buy a Harley, you've got the number one baddest, nicest, fastest motorcycle. That's, a lot of people will laugh at that, but isn't that the idea? Is there a number one over here on Fast Johnny? I don't see a number one on Fast Johnny. I see the Peglet. We all know about that, right? You've heard that conversation. So I've got the Harleys down here now, but look at this. Boy, got the Indians. I mean, come on. It's just like, I mean, you know, you think it through. This is the Indian section, but now we got the Harley section, right? How are they all getting along? So, yeah, so my thoughts were with me, just another day of projects and ventures. And I thought, what do I talk about this morning? And I thought to myself, Harley. So, and why? Because Harley Davidson just released yesterday the new CVO Road Glide for 2023. Harley Davidson's getting a little more creative on their marketing, and they're basically trying to slow things down a little bit and make things a little bit more unique. So the CVO brand, this is borderline a CVO brand product in some ways because of the 117 motor on it and some other little goodies, but the whole point is that they're marketing the higher end CVO product at a different time frame of the year of releasing the new Harleys. And so they delayed that till June of this year, and then they're trying to kind of cut down the production so now everybody can buy these things and kind of just make it where it's just a giveaway product. So I like that Harley's done that. So the 2023 Harley Davidson is a whole new animal. It's a whole redesigned in some ways, in many ways, a whole new product. So I read about this late last night, and I tried this morning to share with everybody the actual pictures of the new Harley. So here is the Harley Davidson. That's just like one picture there, and then there's it. So it's very similar in the looks of the bike. They haven't really taken away the looks, even though the bat wing has been redesigned, the T-wing. And if you look here, they redid the windshield. And they put the blinkers into the lights up here, so these are blinkers now. And they redid the back bags. They're a little more, they call 3D look to them, apparently a little bigger. Put a nicer seat on it, they claim. They did inverted forks. See the forks here? So if you go over here to my daughter's bike, you can see that this is usually how Harley Davidson puts the forks on. And in this situation, they claim that they have flipped them upside down. So the forks now are basically reversed. And apparently that's a better way, that's a better handling motorcycle when you invert the forks. And they did a custom wheel that apparently allows now this really custom style wheel is very challenging to apparently get TPMS in or something. I'm not real clear on that, but so really nice wheel. They did a shorter front fender. So if you look at this fender here, but even for me, I don't know if I can use this motorcycle as an example of that because that already kind of has a short fender. So I think the CVO had more of the longer, like my CVO back up north, the Limited, it has a real long, really cool looking fender. They're gonna let us do a 360 on this, pretty cool. So you see here on the that windshield, that's so like the Road Glide style windshield. So it's so different. If you look over here, look at this style windshield here. I actually replaced the factory windshield, but the new windshield is all part of like the front of the actual bat wing, like it's attached up here. So that's kind of interesting on that. And let's see if this thing keeps on turning. I don't know. Seem to have a little oh, there it goes. Okay. So the front light you can see here is more of a square light versus the round light. And keep in mind, this motorcycle here is the same, really, as a CVO in so many aspects. So this bike is very similar. So it's not like I'm showing you, meaning that's the 2022. Well, that's interesting. That's a 2023 Fast Johnny, but the 2023 CVO, it's all redesigned. So see here, as I say, that's lighting, but that's the blinkers. And right here, these are the blinkers on the old school. This will now be the old school Harley Davidson Street Glide. What else did they do to it here? We got to shrink it down. And I know it's kind of a small area here. Man, I can't get that thing to do that. Okay, there we go. So it has a 121 motor. If you look right here. So that's a new 121 VVT variable valve timing motor that apparently has like 139 foot-pounds of torque and I think 116 or I think maybe 119 horsepower. So that's an upgrade, a whole new motor versus this motor here, as I just said. This is a 117. So that motor, the 121, has like 8% more horsepower and like 9% more torque for the new motorcycle. And then they apparently did something on the clutch. You can adjust the clutch. They put a 4.5-inch exhaust on what was a factory 4-inch exhaust. So I actually upgraded my exhaust on the Fast Johnny here. So this is already like a 4.5-inch exhaust. And so they were, like they claim, a little bit more free flowing for the exhaust on it. And they did a whole new technology on the boom box. I'm kind of surprised here. See how they got the nice rear tail lights built into the bike. Surprised they didn't get a little more creative on more presence for lighting on the back of the saddlebags. Because if you go over here and you look, mine, I've mentioned it before, is that a little gaudy with these plastic reflectors. But here is the CVO look. If I wanted to, I could remove this. I can get those lights, and I can give it more of the CVO cleaner LED look if I kind of want to change that out. And apparently they shed some weight on the motorcycle as well, where the new Street Glide is like 38 pounds lighter. So it's now like an 880 some odd pound bike, I believe, something like that. We have specs here in a minute. And then the infotainment center here, let's see if I can expand that. It's a whole new infotainment location. Look at the air. So they claim they can adjust the airflow better to help cut down the buffering. But a brand new infotainment center. It's all your gauges and everything's digital. Okay, so like right now, this is really cool. This is kind of a really cool look versus the new one. It all goes to the screen for your same type of look digitally. So, but some people I'm sure won't like that. And then the screen, look how small this infotainment screen is compared to this screen. I mean, this is huge. I mean, it's a huge difference. It's like a 12-inch screen. Then I noticed that the controls on the handlebars are different as well. Right here, so that's all changed up, and I think they've made the handlebars a little wider. I think. Look, they changed the mirrors. So the mirrors are on that T-wing, bat wing versus this here. So the whole front of the motorcycle for the Harley definitely has changed. Even the air deflectors. So a lot of change. And nobody's ridden the bike yet. So Harley's showing everything, but not a journalist has had an opportunity to actually look at this motorcycle. Now it has a 6-gallon fuel tank versus this has a 5.5-gallon fuel tank. So they upped the fuel tank a little bit. So that's a nice thing. Because when you're riding these motorcycles, the only downside to me is I can go 300 miles on riding, driving, whatever it may be. And these things here, when you ride them down the highway, you're stopping at 200 miles. You go 230, 240. You may go 220, but you got to keep in mind, you can really run that bike down a lot. And you got the mileage from gas station to gas station. So if you're on rural areas, you may have no choice but to stop at 180 miles because of the spread out on gas stations. So 6-gallon tank, that's going to put you, 240, maybe 250, maybe 260. These things usually get about 40 miles per gallon. I would just say is a pretty good number. So the 200-mile pit stops pretty much going to be the norm, I would think. And all right, so I think that covers most of the product. And then you have different colors. You only have like 2 different colors here. Dark platinum and some whiskey red or something here. But here's the thing. For that color there, that's a $6,000 increase on the price of the motorcycle. So see there's the digital display. And I'm using my cell phone. I could have gotten my iPad out, but you can go to the internet. See how that is right there. So 121 motor. And I don't like that look. I think it looks a little cheesy. And then seat looks good. Color's pretty cool, but so here you go. So engines, so here's 139 foot-pounds of torque, 115 horsepower, and then a 45 miles per gallon fuel economy. And let's see here. What about the weights? I wonder where the weights are. I wonder if that's going to tell us anything here. Let's see, 6 gallon, 5. Well, there it is. So, 838. 800 and 838. So that's pretty good. I was thinking it was closer to 900. And then you go down to pricing down here, and you'll see it's a $42,999 bike. Okay. Let's see here, financing. Where is that? Well, anyways, $42,999 is the price of the motorcycle. But if you want that upgraded paint scheme, you're going to be at $48,999. Wow. Yeah, 48, 49. Then the dealer's going to play the game of freight and setup, admin fees, and then there's some dealers going to abuse the policy and mark it up 10 grand, be so lucky to get one. So I talked about this here a while back. The next CVO Harley will be a $50,000 motorcycle. And we're talking about now the Street Glide. Wait till the limited CVO comes available probably next year, which is more of the Tour Pack model motorcycle. I guarantee that thing will be every bit of 45. And then if you want the special paint theme, you'll be at $49.99. Then all the dealers. So you're talking about a $60,000 motorcycle for these dealers that'll abuse the ADM, be so lucky to get one. Wow, I'm drinking my coffee here. So wow, so for Harley Davidson, yeah, are they going to be the number one most expensive motorcycle on the custom vehicle operations side, the CVO side? I'd have to say probably. So wow, here's the Fast Johnny. I think it's just a really cool looking bike, and yeah, why am I buying Harleys when I've got all these Indians, which I'll tell you all day long are the better riding bikes? Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh. I'm drinking my coffee here, so sorry if I got a little lull there. But I mean, so here is the Chieftain. So now let's talk about, we just spent a lot of time talking about that Harley Davidson CVO, which they're going to be released at the big Harley 120 anniversary in Milwaukee or whatever this year in July, like July 7th or something, or 13th. And then they're going to start releasing the CVOs to the dealerships by the middle of July. So it's hard to believe, but just 5 weeks from now, the new CVOs will start coming in. Yeah. And then what happens to me when I find out Chesapeake Harley has a CVO available? Yeah. Yeah, geez, all right. Just we're going down that path this morning. We're not going down that path, right? So now, but what I want to do here now is, and which I love the Harley Davidson product. I really do. Even though I talk about it all the time. And what's really cool today is I don't have my tape measure with me. I can't even believe I don't have a tape measure down here. It about drives me nuts. Got this truck with this toolbox, and where's the damn tape measure? Probably have one in my Bronco, but forget it. You can just sit here and look. I'm not, right here is the handlebars. And when I sit on this motorcycle, it's you're so much further in. If you just look at these handlebars here. Now I want to go over the Indian Chieftain. Okay, look at the handlebars. They are so much wider than the Street Glide. And so the reason I'm talking about the Chieftain is the Indian copycat to the Street Glide. Indian decided to copy basically Harley Davidson to try to compete in their sales. And if you look at the tank, you would think this tank is bigger, but I don't think it is. I mean, I'd have to get all the specs out. I just see much information, but I believe that's like a 5.5 gallon tank like the Harley. But when you have the seating here, from here to your seating with your feet, I like my new Crocs. Got my new Crocs on, nice down here, and so the seating, it's such a further reach. When I'm hearing this now, I am really, look at how far out my leg is now, and I'm at the same style. So your seating on this motorcycle from over there, it is radically different. You're so much more pushed forward in that motorcycle, where you're crunched. And once again, wider handlebars. So this is so much more comfortable, just from the aspect that you don't feel like you're crunched. If you're within reason of a good size guy, if you're if you're 5'10" or more, I'm 5'10". If you're 6 foot, 6'2", I just don't know if you're 6'2", how you ride this motorcycle. Look at this here. Look at my leg. Look here. Look how my leg is right here. Here's my body right next to the seat, and I'll do it one more time. I will go over this Indian motorcycle, and I will put my body exact same spot right here. Okay, right here I am, right? And look at my leg. My leg now is just about straight out. Wow. And then Harley, in some aspects, is copying Indian, which I forgot to mention that. The new infotainment center gives you the capability for apparently 4 ride commands. So the new Harley finally electronically is now at that stage like Indian, where you can change the way the motorcycle handles, handles itself. Being you have a rain mode, a regular mode, and a normal mode, and a sport mode, and apparently a custom mode. I don't know about that because different articles are saying different things right now about this new Harley Street Glide CVO, but Harley's now has the engine management and the brake management electronically controlled through how you want to set the bike up, which that's a huge feature that I had on my Honda Goldwing, and then Indian brought it to their product, and it's a huge difference in how you ride, and it's a great safety feature and confidence because of how when you ride these motorcycles, you have the braking on the motorcycle and the engine management on controlling your circumstances, what you want to do. And you really do notice it. On that Indian Challenger over here, the lean technology that's incorporated with braking and the power and the engine management is incredible. When you go through these really hard corners, you can feel this bike. It's like you can push this bike down and it doesn't let you push it down. It's the weirdest feeling. It feels like a gyro, like a magnetic, like a magnetic field on the bike, that as you're trying to push it down, the bike's like not letting you do that. It like pushes you back up. I'm sure professional riders don't like that because the bike's kind of trying to help you from not going down. So that's new technology on the Harley Davidson CVO. And until you ride it, you just don't understand it. And the thing about this Challenger over here is it can actually make you feel overconfident. You really have to be kind of careful because you really have a feeling that you can go down these back roads and really cut the corners when you may really not be at that level. It's even for me, I'm like, wow, when I ride this, I really do notice myself moving faster through the corners, and I think, wow, this is a lot. And I'm not like this high performance young guy that's out there cutting corners like somebody else. I just don't have those skills, and to be bragging that that's who I am, I'm not. So now here's the Indian with the 116 motor, 117 motor. So now Harley's going to the 121. So what's Indian going to do? Is Indian going to make a 120, a 122? I mean, is that the next generation Chieftain? But it's interesting. This is air-cooled, your V-twin air-cooled motor, 1700cc motor, the new the new 1697 or whatever. The new CVO is like 1997 or something for that 121 motor. But it isn't really anything new. Harley Davidson did this a few years back. Harley Davidson has done the liquid-cooled heads. So the engine isn't like totally liquid cooled, but for the environmental reasons, EPA, the new Harley has liquid-cooled heads to, help manage the EPA guidelines, versus Indian still is doing air-cooled. They haven't gone water-cooled on the V-twin. Now, on this motor here, this is a whole different engine. This is a liquid-cooled engine. And that's a badass engine. I mean, that thing is so nice, but this here is the conventional V-twin. So you have a V-twin between your legs. When you get on these motorcycles, and I'll get on this one right now, and you're sitting these bikes, and you have this V-twin motor, it's just an incredible feeling. You just don't get it until you ride this motorcycle. So here I am, now kind of, stretch out my arms, just sitting on the bike, and here I am sitting here on my Indian, and this is, the posture, and it's just incredible on how this is just so much more open. Now, for Harley Davidson, they didn't do the screen. I love this feature here, where right here, you can raise and lower the screen on this motorcycle for the wind in your face, or not so much. So Harley Davidson, I'm kind of surprised they didn't go that route. And same thing on my Challenger. They decided to keep a fixed front windshield. So to me, totally different design windshield. Very interesting to see the aftermarket, how they're going to handle that windshield on the new CVO. Because it's just a whole different, it's very interesting. So that whole lot of this stuff for the aftermarket guys, what are they going to do, right? And the CVO Street Glide is now the future 2024 Street Glide platform of the motorcycle. So 2024 Street Glide will have that exact same look as that CVO, but it'll have a smaller motor. So the specials will probably now have a 117 motor, be my guess. And so that's the next stage. So that's exciting for the Street Glide fans out there that don't want to spend the money on the CVO, but you're getting a whole new updated bike, and it really does looks like a great bike, great package. So that's exciting. Harley wants to be number one. And for the record, Harley Davidson sales, they just kill Indians' footprint is a flea on the back of a dog. One flea compared to the Harley Davidson brand. I mean, Indian's just not there. Indian's definitely taking sales from Harley Davidson, but there's no way. And has Harley Davidson taken the hits? It has. Are they number one selling motorcycle in the world now? I can't answer that. I didn't look that up. I just don't know. I mean, there's just too much competition from Indy and everywhere else. So, really cool. I'm sure some people will be like, well, are you going to get one? I just got this. This is really nice. For me, I would think it'd be more about just timing and time. I'm not fixated on, but that's just who I am. Then I'll get, and here's the thing, every brothers me want one. So to get one's going to be very challenging. Chesapeake Harley, a lot of people lined up trying to buy that bike. But I would think more of it limited. For me, it would be more on the page, would it make sense at this point to pick up a CVO Limited, which that probably won't come out till like next year. But will it be the Road Glide or the Street Glide? Meaning is it a fixed fairing motorcycle or the Batwing? And it's not only the CVO Street Glide, you can also get the CVO Road Glide. So everything I just talked about is the exact same thing for the Road Glide, but we'll use the Indian Challenger, where the Indian Challenger here is the competitor to the Harley Davidson Road Glide. Because if you look here, see, I can turn this wheel, okay, without this front fairing moving, versus they call it the T. I mean, it's called the Batwing. I don't know why somebody's calling it the T wing or whatever. But this is fixed. So when you move this whole front end, the whole fairing moves with the motorcycle. So it's two different rides, different handlebars. So it's a whole different ride from that Road Glide motorcycle to the Street Glide because of that fixed fairing. And some people love that, some don't. The better motorcycle on open highways is the fixed fairing. You don't get pushed around because it's just cutting through the wind, and you don't have the control of the this big fairing, pushing around. And that's the thing. If you watch my videos, it was, I guess, last summer. I just can't keep track. The daughter and I, last summer, daughter and I went up to that, up to the Manatee, whatever, state park. And I got caught in a major storm, and the wind grabbed this front end and whipped the bike and just about took me down. So on this bike here, I don't know if that would have been the same type of scenario. That may have been a safer bike in that type of circumstances. So the Road Glide's going to be available. And this is all stuff you can go to the Harley Davidson website, or just go to the motorcyclist or rider, or, all the different motorcycle read up on it. But there's no journalists that have had one given to them yet to actually do the real ride. So that'll be the real story. You know where it's all going to go. It's going to be the comparison probably to the Indian. That was a comparison. And, once again, at the end of the day, what's the better bike? And it's the Indian, just because of all the little things I talked about, and didn't even get into great length about. I've talked about it before on my channel. But at the same time, the Harley just has that look and that following. And what is the kid like? Number one, right? And that's how I kind of start wrapping it up here. And I just thought to myself, as I said, Harley Davidson wants to be number one. And I talked about this here in the standards of the automotive world and other things. And I just thought to myself, it's just incredible. We live in a society today in this country where number one is borderline looked at and not the greatest of ways. That it looks like you're just somebody special and you shouldn't be that way. And so more than ever, are we living in today's society where number one is frowned upon? I mean, if we look at what's going on, and we look at what's going on with our inner cities, what's going on with our educational system, what's going on with politicians that are elected, that they seem not to be wanting people to be number one. I mean, what's sad is I met a guy yesterday at the Indian dealer that's a former police officer, 30 years here in Kingsport, Tennessee, and military man, and now he's a sitting judge, and he bought a Slingshot R, and he got rid of his Harleys because he just loves his Slingshot R, and he's like in his 70s, so he just had his day, and he's ready to change up the ride, but he's at that Roush Slingshot R, which I think I'm going to get one of those. It just, when does it come in, right? That's all another story. Stay tuned for that adventure. Hopefully, we'll see. And so he just talked about how, as a sitting judge here in Tennessee, how he sees so many meth screwed up people, drug abuse people, that it's incredible. And we're living in a society more than ever that the governing bodies support this type of habit. Yes. So it's as if, people are electing officials that want nothing to do with being number one. I mean, it's so sad that we're in a society today more than ever that I've talked about here the last few days is how we're witnessing the deterioration of our society, where people don't want to be number one. Could you imagine if Harley Davidson brought out the next greatest CVO and the motor was a 50cc motor? And it looked like the retro Harleys from the early 1900s. Can you even imagine? Can you imagine? If Harley Davidson, and in so many aspects, that's where we are today in today's society, that people are, of my age, people younger, that are just deteriorating themselves and going backwards and are just losers. We are witnessing more than ever in our life, just losers. I need to just make a whole video talk about losers, of the products that have been made and what we're witnessing of people in society that are just total losers that ruin for other people. Here's the sad story. Here's a young lady that worked at a Roadrunner gas station here in Johnson City, Tennessee. A father and son robbed the store and they shoot the girl dead. I mean, and these are two guys that look like me. I mean, so somebody could instantly, go to the immediate, well, what color were they or whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Anybody's fixating this color thing, you're lost. It's just a media machine brainwashing you. The drug addictions are rampant of any color. It doesn't matter whether what you are. We're witnessing this. It's bad, and it's so sad that this father of my age with his son, that's probably like my daughter's age, go in and rob a store for money, and they kill this young girl. Just beyond disgusting. Public hanging for these type of people. When do we have the public hanging for people that create these crimes? There's no rhyme or reason for anybody to sit into a jury and try to justify these two people's actions that took away a daughter from a family and friends. It's not acceptable. It's just public hanging. When does the public hanging begin? I mean, sincerely, we're in a society more than ever where the losers are accepted, and we have governing bodies and leaderships in power that they don't want number one. They want you to be a loser because they want you to be self-reliant, not self-sufficient, self-reliant on them so they can be number one for their views and ideology in life. Oh my gosh, it gets deep and heavy, and I'm going to leave it at that. It's Friday, beautiful day here, got a lot going on, and I think the Harley Davidson CVO is a really good-looking bike. I'd imagine it's going to probably be a lot of fun riding a motorcycle, but even though it's an updated, refreshed Street Glide, I'm surprised they didn't do a little bit more of a stretch on that bike. So a stretch on the bike to have a little bit more room would have been nice. Apparently the Road Glide handlebars are redesigned, so they are nicer. A windshield, I should say, your front fairing and your windshield, I think would have been great to have an adjustable front windshield. So I wish Harley would have done that. That'd have been really cool. There's a bunch of things they could have probably done, but it gets, deep and heavy on that, and I'm going to leave it at that. So just beautiful bikes. I mean, it's all about time. And can I get on the motorcycles today and do some riding time on Fast Johnny? And wow, last night I made everybody a really great meal, and we all hung out down here in our new hangout area, and there's the dogs. And now I got to make everybody breakfast. Yeah, baby.
Are we going to go out for breakfast?
I was going to make it right here for you.
Okay.
I'm about wrapping it up, okay?
Well, I'm hungry.
All right, well, I'm going to get you some food. See there? It's always about eating, right? Really appreciate you watching my channel. Thank you very much for the nice comments and support. Share the channel. And look at the scenery. Beautiful down here. Just beautiful. Perfect weather. Just great. So God bless. Stay safe. Stay tuned. And hope everyone has a great day.